Check, check, check. 1 2 1 2. Beta Games in the building. Let me take the sound off. I gotta do this professionally. Let me take the sound off. First things first. My peoples come first, and my people that are here with me, that are no longer here, thought of and remembered. I got a special show, a bonus show, and in my haste, I didn't even put up the clock that I wanted to make sure that I had. So I'm gonna have to make sure I add that. But I got a guest. I got a guest, and this guest that I'm about to bring to the show told me when I was live on my show, the audience that I had, those in the chat, he went out of his way. Amazing guy. Went out of his way to say large up Vader. Went out his way to kind of acknowledge the chat, and he also he did a little teaser. He did a little teaser with the upcoming show, saying, "Word is that there is a sexy guest joining your show later." All right, he said that, and I happened to tune into his channel a little earlier, and I think he's sending a few his way this way. But I gotta say, I looked over and I was like, "Is that the sexy guest that's joining?" So I'm gonna bring him to the stage. I'm gonna let everyone in the chat be the judge on whether this United Spurs of America, this special guest on the first neighborhood watch to have happened with a guest. Let me bring my man. Jacob. Jacob, my dude, what it is.
Yes. What's going on, Vader? First of all, that logo on your background looks fantastic.
The
But
logo
now
on
I
my
can't
back.
see you. Yeah,
The
the
logo.
logo there on your little virtual background. I feel like I want a virtual background. But Chewy's here. I'm here.
All
Some
right.
people from the channel are here. I see. Big up Nick, Jordan, Craig the Gecko Man. Vader, you haven't told everyone to like and subscribe as far as I heard. Maybe
No,
you
I
did and I
haven't.
missed
I
it.
haven't. It was more important to introduce you to the show.
I appreciate that.
And now that we've
Plus, you
gotten
got
that,
you're talking about sexy. I was more talking about the shirt, a guest and a
oh, the
sexy
shirt.
shirt because you've got the Jamaican flag in your Twitter bio.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
thought, hey, show some respect. So
Oh no, you're
big up
representing
Vader.
well. You're representing
Yeah.
well. You're representing well. Now I'm going to work on my overlays and my show design because I think it'd be best to have it full screen. So I'm gonna be messing around depending on when I'm speaking and when Jacob's speaking. I'm gonna be flirting around with this because I do want to make Jacob center stage at times because this is a special show. And shout out to everybody in the comments, everybody in the views right now. So like Jacob mentioned, let me large up lazy. What it is, good looking out, appreciate the raid. Jordan, again, it's gonna be a special one. It's gonna be a special one. And Craig. All right, here we go. So, Jacob, while I mess around with this, because I do want to bring my timer in the mix. But I want you to know that this show is gonna be very different. The show is gonna be different in the sense that you live in this world of content creation. You live in this world of just want to represent your club for the masses, those that want to consume it, right? And I appreciate that a lot about you. What I want to kind of get away from in my own way is the how do I put this? It's the everything is doom and gloom.
Mm.
Everything is a disaster because this is a life of sport. Even in the world of business, it's competition. There's ups and downs. There's things that aren't ideal, but you kind of power through it. If anyone's ever lived in sales, sometimes you may not have the best product that you need to kind of get into in the front of people. Sometimes you don't necessarily have the best pitch, but you got to design it yourself. You got to come up with your own thing. So that's often the case with regards to our clubs, right? They're not perfect from top to bottom. They don't have every piece necessary, but we back them and we look for what can actually be success. Now let me move this over to here. Actually, that's not going to work. Actually, I'm gonna have to leave it. All right, let me do this real quick. Where did I put this? All right. Intro this. Thank you for your patience, everyone.
Well, what I could do what I could say while you do all that would be, I don't know if you're saying I'm one of the people who do or don't do that, but I know for a fact I get called all type of things under the sun because I'm not all doom and gloom and wham wham every 10 seconds about Tottenham Hotspur. Now, you might say, how can you do that from a position of which your club hasn't won a trophy in 16 years, one trophy in the last 23 years, 24 years, I think it is now, 6,000 plus days since a trophy. Um,
Mm.
yeah, I mean, I can understand why you would look at all that and say, how do I become the blossoming sunflower underneath all this rubble, underneath all this dismay? That's really up
Well,
to you and your life philosophy on how you do it.
well, this is
So for
what
me,
I'm going to post to you. This is what I'm going to post to you on this
yeah,
show in particular. And what?
okay.
And again, Jacob is the first. I'll be honest with you, everyone in the chat. I sent out. No, I don't do the mass spam blast email. I customize my requests, even in the group
Mm,
chat. And my request was to many at the same day, similar time. Hey, I'm looking to do this between these few days. Please let me know your availability. Let me know what you can do. Jacob gave me the earliest availability. Jacob was the one like, listen, Vader, I got you. Let me work around my schedule. Obviously, him like myself, father of two. You got to balance. You got to balance the day. So I get it. And you, I mean, happy wife, happy life. So you got to do all of that, right? Now, he was the first to come through, and maybe it's because it's a father thing. Maybe it's because we both have, our young princesses and princes. He came through first to the mat, first to the mat, first to do it. So I'm going to ask you this, and this is the format moving forward for those that are going to be coming onto the show in the future. It's all positive today. Jacob, there's no underhanded questions to kind of hem you up to try to catch you out. Today, it's about each of our clubs, and it's you can see it. Neighborhood watch. I'm just looking, seeing hey, what's
yeah,
happening
what's
over there
going
at
on down the
Tottenham.
block?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know the club like you do, so I'm just like, hey, what's happening over there? So my first question, I'm gonna start this clock because, like I said, I'm going to respect your time, my friend. So clock's gonna start. 30 minutes is all I will ask of you. If you happen to have more, bonus. But it's 30 minutes. Enjoy the content, everybody. Clock's up. Jacob, transfer window. We got 2 more weeks, pretty much. Let me
Mm.
know of your incoming signings. Let me know if you want to list them out or if you just want to highlight the one that really got you. You know what? I'm watching you because I'm excited for what you can do for my club. Can you speak of your incoming signings?
So the first one to talk about be a young man that we signed when he turned 18, which was right after the January window closed and beginning weeks of February. His name is Lucas Bergvall. We signed him from the Swedish League. Now,
Okay.
do I watch the Swedish League? I'm not even going to educate that or honor that with an
Yeah, don't
answer.
even don't even pose
No,
that as a question.
I
Yeah,
just,
of course not.
yeah, of course. I don't even know who fucking broadcast that. So, um, I don't know anything about him other than the clips that were coming out. So I got the little updates on my phone. I have SofaScore app, and it tells me, I'll follow a player, and it says, "Hey, they're starting, or they got a yellow card, they got subbed in, or like a Dama Traore, for instance. I know every time that man scores. I know when he gets assists, which he did score the other day.
Okay.
I'll die on the hill that Adama Traore would have cooked for Spurs. Now he has nothing to do with this transfer window, other than when I think of transfer windows and heartbreak, I think of Adama Traore, but for me, Ezzy was one that we've been talking about since the beginning. And I know you said who's come in, and I'm going to
Yeah.
answer it long form, which is I'll tell you who didn't come in, who I really needed. And I said I needed him like I need oxygen to breathe. Now, if that was true, Vader, I would have been dead 2 months ago. So Eberechi Ezzy's just never going to happen. I was told it was the Euros, and then that ended. And then we signed a guy who was our number one target. He
Yeah.
wasn't even at the Euros, in Dominic Solanke. Now,
Okay.
that is a signing for me that I was like, wow. Very underwhelming. Not going to help us
Re-
close the gap between us and City. Not going to help. I was very
so
down
this is
on it
your
because,
initial take. This is your initial take.
yes, my
Okay.
initial thoughts were like, wow, really? Because I've been watching a guy named Ivan Toney for 3, 4 years now when he was in the championship, coming up in the Premier League. I kept tabs on him because there was a problem for Tottenham fans a while back, and I tried to be the antidote, baby. I tried to say, I got you, your backup to Harry Kane. The most Harry
Okay.
Kane-esque striker I could find. Of course, you can't find a Harry Kane level just anywhere. You can't just turn over a
Yeah.
rock. Oh,
Yeah.
there's Harry Kane talent.
Yeah.
No.
Fair.
So when
When you first heard of Solanke, it was kind of like, but now,
yeah. Now I would say that I've actually done more research. Again, I watch Premier League matches.
yeah.
I go on Big Six channels. I go on and I banter with people from all Big Six and maybe a couple outside of that. But I don't do what I didn't do last year was tune into Bournemouth versus Luton, Bournemouth versus Wolves, Bournemouth versus Nottingham Forest, Bournemouth versus all these other. So I wasn't watching 90-minute Dom Solanke. And when I
I
did
get
watch
that. I
Bournemouth,
get that.
I was watching Antoine Semenyo, number 22. I'm a fan of that young man.
But
So
hold
it-
on, hold on, hold on.
Go ahead.
I know
Yeah.
I know you watching them. I know you maybe being very well versed and educated on the player. But you also can't say that you didn't notice how great of a season Solanke had, because he was often referred to with the numbers that he's putting up with regards to G and A, that he was having a very good season. So
Yeah.
maybe not, maybe not top of mind, you knew exactly what he's doing, but you knew that he was having a very good season. Is that fair?
Yeah, but that is fair because we were rumored. Someone said it came up, I think in January or afterwards too. Was like, some Spurs fans were Sherlock Holmes with the shit, 3 steps ahead of everybody, and they're saying we should. Dominic Solanke's the kind of striker we need to go get. The way he presses, the way he constantly attacks in the center point, the right point, he creates goals out of nothing just simply by his press. He has
Okay.
a goal scored in his highlight reel. And admittedly, I don't like to go and look at mixtapes and be like, this is a player, right? Because it's always going to be the best shit. So it's never going to be when you fucked it up. It's going to be when you did it right or when you did something good and maybe someone else messed it up. Yes, Diddler, we're going to be there at that. Hey, my Dom Bomb's going to hit. It's going to hit like crack because I'm telling you right now, I went about 4 days where I was kind of like, man, fuck this Dominic Solanke thing. Sorry for my
Here we
language.
go. Here we go. All right. No,
And then, what?
and then what was the time away? What did the time away do for you to come to your
I
senses?
watched 3 different mixtapes. I started listening to how I did the same thing with Richarlison. When we got, what were
Ooh,
Everton
that's not a
fans
good
saying?
comparison. Why would
No,
you
no,
bring
no.
his name up?
Statistically, Richarlison's been more successful in the Premier League. So let's just put that out there. And that's why I was like, Solanke doesn't move the needle for me because he's comparable in that regard.
Okay. Okay.
But this is my initial argument was I went around saying we're signing a guy that we don't know is better than Solanke. Well, the more research I've done, or excuse me, we're signing a guy we don't know better than Richarlison.
Yeah,
So after
yeah.
doing my research, my amateur research at best,
No worries.
I am now like, he's for sure better than Richarlison. I don't care what mixtape you put together of Richarlison's goals and passes and good sequences of play. He ain't going to have what I saw with Dominic Solanke. Because again, even the best Richarlison mixtape wasn't going to look like any of them 3 of Dominic Solanke that I saw. What I saw in a mixtape is the same thing I look at. Like I was looking at Jaden Philogene last year from Hull City. He just signed for Villa, young winger, English. We were linked with him and Jonathan Rowe and a couple young wingers. And so I do my research. I look into them. And it's one of the things like when I watch a highlight reel, same thing I'm going to circle back with Lucas Bergvall because I don't know him. I don't watch him. Yes, I've seen more Solanke, but that's not because I was like, let me go scout Solanke, right?
Yeah.
But you can base some things, not everything, but some things off of what you see on the tape. Again, I take into account the competition, the level of the players that they're playing, what is the competition, etc. But there's things that Dominic Solanke and Lucas Bergvall showed in the mixtapes that I was seeing that if you're as bad as Richarlison, you don't do. You can't do. So it was a little bit of that research. And then, as much as I think they're fraudulent and outside of the next thing I'm going to say, I would never say anything good about them. But Staffy and Griggs, they are 2 people whom opinion that I genuinely kind of do rate. I don't know where you went, but I genuinely do kind of rate their opinion on players talents in playing the sport in isolation. So let me be very specific, because they do have some bullshit takes. They do talk out the ass sometimes.
Yeah.
But I do actually respect their knowledge when it comes to looking at a player and saying, I've seen this, I've seen that. Now, Griggs is one specifically. He's followed Dominic since the championship. When he left Liverpool, went to Bournemouth, and was in the championship. And I was looking at it from a standpoint, I said, Griggs, how was a guy when Bournemouth get promoted? He scored 30 goals in the championship. Mitrovic scored 50. Talk to me. So what does that mean to me? Is he going to be a baller in the Premier League? And he's like, tell me, oh, I've been watching him forever. He's the perfect profile. He's this, this, and this. And for me, I was like, okay, so Bournemouth in their first year after getting up, they finished 11th. And he had 33 Premier League appearances with 6 goals. Okay. How was he a crucial part of a newly promoted side finishing smack dab in the middle, very far from relegation? They weren't even, I think, even tempting with relegation at any point in the season.
The thing that I want to do, because I like the Solanke signing. I like that, in fairness, you've gone back based off of your initial reaction and be like, you know what, let me give this player a chance. Let me actually do my homework. Let me ask the likes of. Oh yeah, we know that, Jacob. We know.
No, not about Spurs, but I mean, when I'm scouting players, I can get that wrong. Outside of that, in many aspects in life, I'm flawless.
All right, Jacob doesn't get anything wrong with regards to Spurs, but player profiles occasionally. Now, the fact is you went out.
I also scouted Patrick Bamford in my Kane backup. Patrick Bamford was in that conversation. I have to hold that one. So I do get it wrong, but I also did scout Mickey Van de Veen before we signed him. Now everybody talking nicely about Mickey Van de Veen. They need to talk to Jacob nicely.
Okay, we're actually going to get to that point, because I want to talk about some of the things that happen within these spaces that kind of I'm a little tired of, but it's consistent within it. But that's for another time. That's a little later. We got time. But Solanke, the fact that you went to Staffy, the fact that you went to Griggs, and you're like, hey, let me find out more. I respect that of you. Now,
they've also been thirsty for strikers, them two individuals.
They have. Now, I don't know if you asked the question, and I'll hopefully get a chance to pose this to Staffy as I do Neighborhood Watch for Manchester United. But would he have taken a Solanke at United? And if he would have...
They both said yes. Before Xerxes.
So this is perfect. So now when we talk about the positives, when we talk about Spurs, the fact that you have a Solanke that many United fans would have preferred to have him at their club, that is a win. Now, we got about 19 minutes left into the show. And I want to talk about other players or changes at the club that have Jacob in the sexy shirt that you're wearing right now happy, a little giddy, a little excited for the upcoming season. So any other positive, because again, in this space of fanatics, right? We can often just be, I hate this. I don't like this. This is terrible. My owners suck. My players suck. No.
It's really easy when you're a Spurs fan and you ain't won anything in a long time. I can imagine any City fans are going, wham, wham. If you did, better not show your neck around my city, because I'll tell you what. Any City fans complaining about anything y'all are doing?
Anything? There's nothing a City fan can complain about.
Nothing. Zero. I will. You're pulling up in a Bentley to a dude saying, spare change, I'll take a Carabao. Just a Carabao, please. I cried watching Son cry when we lost in the Carabao to you bastards. All right? Okay. That's how much it meant. So we're so close. It's the last final we've been in.
I hear it. And
you're pulling up in the Bentley saying, I would give you change, but I'm hungry too. And then you speed off.
No, City fans.
I ain't hearing no complaints from y'all. Just won a treble. You just did something that no one in the history of this 100-plus-year-old sport has ever done.
That's true.
So
that's true.
And if any City fans going, wait, how did Pep? Oh, Pep, how dare he? I'm saying, better not.
You're right. There's nothing to complain about. As I just changed my screen, you can see There's really nothing I should be complaining about.
Bro, if y'all got relegated next season from perform, I'm not even talking 150. I'm talking about performances. If y'all got relegated, bro, if I was in y'all's position, I'm doing like that dude in Breaking Bad. You know, the fat guy who lays on the money. He's like,
Yeah.
I don't get it. That's how I'm chilling. League One, League Two. I don't
Oh
give
my
a
goodness.
fuck, baby. This
All
is
right.
me. If I'm City, talk to me, baby. If it ain't about money, I ain't hearing nothing.
No, I mean, there's a few things. The latest breaking news is the 115 that's in the news right now. It's going to be started
I'm
and
not a
decided.
lawyer or financer. The
No,
charges
but
to me, it's just fun banter, but I don't really care. And I don't hold y'all against I don't hold those against you either because the players on the pitch aren't the ones writing emails and balancing
well,
spreadsheets.
everybody in the chat right now,
Ruben
the
Diaz
viewers,
shouldn't have been
this is
player of the season that year that he stole it from Harry Kane. But outside of that, that was criminal. You need to be charged for that.
okay. No, this is a positive show right now, so you're not going to
Oh,
derail
sorry.
these things.
I'm getting pissed off thinking about City. I can't lie.
Yeah, no. I want Happy Jacob.
I'm
Happy
envious
Jacob
over
is
here. I'm
good.
like, don't you dare say you're starving, motherfucker.
No,
I haven't seen a meal.
I wasn't even going to go that route. I was just going to ask the question on things that a fan base might complain about. And again, we're not talking about Manchester City or anything that might be complained about right now. Although I don't like the fact that Julian Alvarez is leaving, but that's something else to talk about on another time. Solanke, I applaud Spurs on that signing. I think he's going to be phenomenal for you. I think his versatility as well, in terms of how you guys may have been spoiled with a Harry Kane, with what he was able to do creatively, scoring wise. I think obviously Solanke isn't a Harry Kane, but a lot of those attributes that was successful at Spurs, I think he brings back. Who else?
Yeah, and that's another point, real quick, because when I was moaning about the Solanke link before we signed him, by the time we signed him, I was already on board. But when we were linked, I was so attached to the name of Ivan Toney. If it's that, because I know we're not going to get an Isak. Like, I look at the Premier League and I say, what strikers have fucking shown in the Premier League they can bang?
Yeah.
Who's got that thing in their feet? Both feet, preferably.
Yep.
Like the one Sir Reginald Harold Edward Kane, the best striker to ever grace the continent, let alone the Premier League.
Why
but
you do?
we'll
Why you do? Yeah. Let's move on.
He's a schnitzel merchant at the end of the day.
We'll have.
Bro, I had the real quick. I did have the most unhinged. I had the most unhinged reaction. I was doing a watch along for the Bayern game when he came on the pitch.
I was listening.
Did you see, bro? I didn't mean to freak out, but it was like, I love you. And then I was like, oh yeah, I fucking hate you. And then I'm like, but I love you so much. It was the most bipolar moment I think online I've ever had, because it was like, I don't deal well with rejection.
You didn't want him to go. You didn't want him to go.
Fuck no. I mean, obviously, like, I don't want anyone at my club that doesn't want to be here. And that year that he down tooled and helped get Nuno fired, I mean, props for that. But I also thought it was kind of a bitch move, and it made me. It already created, like when you have like a fucking table that's built together with screws and it's metal, right? And it's been there for fucking 15 years. It's just like it's set there, and those screws are fucking tight. But with that friction from that summer, it was like they just loosened it just a little. Didn't take the screw out yet. They just loosened it. So now it's not going to be so hard when you get that screw. That's what that was. So it still hurt. It still fucked me up, but it wasn't as bad as if we just raw dogged it. Like, if he had left that summer, I don't know what I would have done. But it wasn't like he did anything other than just bang goals in a very shitty side. I think he scored 30 goals in a horrible top. He was giving Erling Haaland an actual competition in the Golden Boot race while being held down by Longley, Dyer, Tanganga.
Okay. The Harry Kane appreciation and tribute will be for another time, Jacob. And
he did try to shoot a goal on us. I got so upset, bro. I saw a comment that said when he shot at us, bro, I was like, I'll kill you. Don't you dare.
He didn't raise. I mean, it looked. I don't know. Maybe I read this wrong or what I saw, but it looked like they
slid on him. By the way, it's my dog. Fucking dog.
Game. Yeah, you're supposed to do that.
He slid up on him though, just like fuck you, dog. Boop. It was great.
He didn't raise the trophy that they sometimes do after the friendlies. Which
Respect my schnitzel merchant. Yeah.
But again, Jacob, you can see the clock. or maybe you can't
Yeah.
because I'm small. I'm small here. But who else has got you? Can I use the word giddy? Who's got you ready for the season to kick off? Being like, yeah, bring it
It's
on.
not a signing. Well, it is a signing because we
No, I
technically
want the
signed him
signing. I
today.
want.
His birthday was yesterday. But what's
Okay.
got me real excited is a young man. We've got our very own North London's Lamine Yamal, baby. His name is Mikey Moore, and he just turned 17 yesterday. We signed him to a contract today, locked it down. There's been Premier League clubs, Vader, that allegedly submitted an 8-figure bid. 8 figures to me is either 10 million or 99 million. Now, even if it's 99 million, then we still said fuck off. If it's
All right.
10 million, we said fuck off. And his kid was 15 at the time. And City was in for him. United was in for him. Chelsea was in for him. I believe it was Chelsea that submitted like a 10 million bid for him. That's
Okay.
my assumption.
Yeah,
It's not
that's a
confirmed,
smart. That's a smart assumption.
but they like
Chelsea.
kids. Why
Yeah,
don't you
they
grab
should.
up the best young thing? Bro, he was 16 playing with U21s, U18s, winning us trophies.
So,
So
so when you think of this
he's the best
profile,
right winger at the club right now. Fuck off, Brendan Johnson. I mean, I know it's
um,
positive time, but he is our best right winger
you
at the
think,
club. You can hold me to that. You can fucking say Jacob said this child is our, and now whether that's indicative of the club being
yeah,
a
yeah, yeah.
shit
I hear that.
show
Yeah.
or Mikey Moore's talent or both, I don't know what the right answer is. All I know is when I watch this man, he does shit Brendan Johnson wouldn't even try to do in FIFA.
So this signing in more,
But he's one of our own. He's been our signing since he
yeah,
was 7 years old. He's bleeding Tottenham right now.
essentially the promotion. You want to promotion to first team is how you want to look at it, right?
And this is something, Vader. So before Ainge came in with Conte and Jose, I used to cry and complain all the time. No pathway. Look at Madueke. He fucked off because he was with no pathway
Okay.
from our
Yeah.
academy to our first. Our academy was broken at Tottenham. The best facilities and everything, but just no structure, no identity.
Mm.
And that was also true with our first team. We went from Pochettino ball to Jose ball. Now, anyone who's
Yeah.
even a fucking amateur at understanding tactics can understand the vast difference between those two things.
Okay.
So, from Poch ball to Jose ball was a transitional phase. And that was then our identity. Then he's gone. And then we went through 4 years where we didn't have a manager start and finish a season. How the fuck can you build an ethos with your kids if they don't even know what they're like? He may play like
with
a
you
left
being,
back, but now we're in a wing back system. We don't need your ass. So then he's like, well, I want to go somewhere else. So then we get Markandé, who hasn't done shit. I complained about Markandé leaving. He went to Blackburn Rovers, done nothing. And then there's also Romain Mundle. He left. I cried, and he's done
you,
nothing as
you know
well.
what I
But
like
again,
about this? You know what I
what's
like
that?
about this is because as you were first speaking about more, to then speaking about the system at Spurs, I heard you answer two. I heard you answer one question with two answers. I heard you talk about the profile and player, and I also heard you talk about the structure. Sounds like
Mhm.
you're happy with how things have kind of changed. Where, like you said, there was no pathway. Any young talent, you're like, it's not happening because the managers aren't going to invest in it, or the system itself is going to allow for it. So
Is
it
Jose
seems
going
like,
to come in here and put his record, his reputation on the line for fucking Juan
mm,
Foyth?
yeah,
Who is Juan Foyth? We sold him to La Liga and he went and won Europa and a trophy. Everyone wins trophies when they leave Tottenham. It's just
yeah,
fun,
yeah, they
except
do.
for Harry Kane. He broke the curse. But anyway, the last summer is when this revitalization of the academy began.
Yeah,
And that's because when we were there with no manager, Arnie Slot had just used us like a dirty towel to get a bigger contract at Feyenoord. He basically was like, maybe I'll go to Tottenham Feyenoord. And then Feyenoord was like, we'll triple your salary if you stay. He says, I want to stay with this project. He's a money whore. I hope he fails at the Premier League. I can't wait till we get 6 points off his bald head. But anyway, I'm not bitter. I deal with rejection fine, Vader. You see?
The-
Very
I mean,
healthy.
so with okay, the rejection you don't really have to deal with much as of late, right? You got
I mean,
and
Conte's bitch ass rejected us, but guess what? He came back.
true, true. What
Bozo.
did what So let me just kind of highlight this as I speak out loud. Solanke, obviously, Jacob came around to it, but loves what's happening.
I came around and I liked it, but I'll tell you why I'm hype about it now. I'm hype
Oh,
about it.
okay, wait,
My
wait, wait.
expectations are up, baby.
Okay, we'll get there because I want we'll get into the expectations.
Okay.
I also
Well, my
want
expectation for him specifically.
yeah for him, but it'll bleed into the club as well, right? Because his
Okay.
success leads to the club success. I want to find out if there's a third player, or is there a third hire, whether it's on the coaching staff or anything that's happening behind the scenes. What might be a third positive for Jacob in particular, not for all Spurs fans, but for Jacob? What's a third positive going into the season?
Well, I would say that for a first time in a really long, I'm trying to think of the last time I was like, I love my goalkeeper and my back four.
Okay,
Because for
okay,
me,
speak on it.
there's been so many years of being like, when I watch Ben Davies at left back, I want to take a spoon to my eye and just,
Ooh,
just,
ooh. Okay,
just
okay,
pop that,
yeah.
boop, just pop, boop. You know what I'm talking about? Just
All right, yeah, take it easy.
boop,
Yeah.
pop that thing out. That's what he makes me want to do. And then we signed Regalon to play left back, and he's shit, but he wasn't Ben Davies, so I was like, woohoo! But then it was like, wow, he is actually ass. And then we also on the right back after, Kyle Walker and Trippier both end up leaving. Now we've got Juan Foyth,
Mm-hmm.
Serge Aurier.
Okay.
You're not gonna win shit with Serge Aurier. And so I've always had problems with my left back and my right back. After I'd say Danny Rose was probably the last left back, but Destiny's got me feeling good, baby.
Oh
Destiny
goodness.
for me could be the best left back in the fucking league, in the fucking world, and he's mine, he's ours, he's Tottenham. Come on, baby. I love me some Destiny. That
Okay.
is there's a positive. That we got Destiny, you goaty, baby.
So
That's one.
you're happy with
My
your keep.
next
You're
positive,
happy with
we
the
got the
defense.
best center back in the fucking world.
Uh,
Cuti Romero. The best center back in the world. You don't believe me? Ask the GOAT of our generation, Vader. What would he say? Lionel, beep, beep. Hang on, let me
his
call
fellow
Lionel.
countrymen. You want me
Hey,
to ask his fellow
Leo.
countrymen?
He could have said it about the fucking butcher. He could have said it about Otamendi. He could have said it about anybody. But what did he say? Cuti Romero is the
Okay.
best center back in the whole fucking world. You could scour every inch of God's green earth, even the seas, the depths of the
This
Titanic. You
this
can't
is his
find a
season.
center back more talented than Cuti Romero.
Do you think? Do you think based off of that? I know it's early days, but would you know what? We'll revisit this because he should be in team of the season with how you're speaking of him and
But again,
how.
the rep he gets from fucking casuals is wrong and misrepresentative of him and what he had
Mm,
last season. Again, less cards last year than Arteta. Y'all can hold that.
he had an injury spell
Arteta's not
last
even on the
season.
fucking pitch.
He had
But
an
he's
injury spell.
reckless, he's clueless, he's rash, he's dangerous, he's a meanie pants. Oh, this is what they
No,
do.
I like his aggressive. I
Even
like his
Spurs fans
aggressiveness.
12 months ago, even Spurs fans 12 months ago, you fucking assholes. They were saying, oh, if
All right.
fucking Real Madrid bidded 40 million for Kuti, I would sell him right now. 45 for Son, 90 mil, you get them both. Pussies, bro. Pussies that don't want to believe in anything
I have to
because they've
do
been
this because
hurt
I
for
know
20 plus years.
I have to do this because I know some of you are going to be surprised. So it's no worries. Continue to be you. Don't worry about it. But I'm going to say this: the views and
Mm.
opinions expressed in the media or comments on this channel are those of the speaker and do not
Mhm.
necessarily reflect or represent the views and opinions held by the channel's broadcaster or the show. I'm just going to put that out there. It's all good.
See, I don't
Continue
fuck
being
with
you,
the
though.
legal rigmarole. I don't
I
fuck with
hear it.
legal
I know it.
rigmarole. I
I
ain't a
know it.
lawyer. I ain't a financier. I ain't a
I got it.
budgeteer. I'm
I
not a
got it.
goddamn accountant. I'm not a fucking Excel master. I don't have an Excel
No,
class, like little certified. What I
no
do
worries.
got is love and passion for my fucking club. And I got a problem when Spurs fans want to talk down on my club. Rival fans, I encourage it. That's what it's about.
Hmm.
Rival fans, that's all what it's about.
So, so we're going
Like I
into
love it when people take the piss out of Spurs. Tell me that I ain't been trophyless. Honestly, I would say get better material that's been used up
yeah,
more than
that
your
line's tired.
neighborhood. I ain't gonna say it, but
Yeah, that line's tired. I think I want to do this because with you being able to highlight the three things that you like going into the season, and obviously there's going to be more. I think when
You
the
were asking for
transfer
more
window.
positives.
Yeah, well, we're gonna speak on Solanke and the hypeness that you have going in because I want to be respectful of time.
We have Cuti Romero, bro. Let me put that one number one. I know you're making a list. You're checking it twice. Gonna find out who's naughty or nice.
Yeah,
All right, Cuti Romero number one on any list that you got of positives,
but
of Spurs, of anything. Because every Spurs fan that tried to dunk on him last summer had to eat their words and do the whole, I never said that. I never said that. Show me
Spurs
once
fans were
where I
talking
said
bad on
that.
Kuti. Spurs fans were
Last
talking bad
summer,
on.
bro, they're saying everything rivals said. He's a bozo. He's reckless. He's clueless. He doesn't know how to defend without hurting people, which is a lie because he hasn't hurt a single soul with any tackle except himself.
Okay, I have to say,
I'm getting worked up because this is trauma. People talking shit, bro. I had to dig my heels in and say, you're all liars and you're wrong. Your
I like what I'm hearing
emotions are
though.
lying to you. Well, my emotions, facts don't care for your emotions. They like to say that, but when I use facts to, to disprove their bullshit, guess what? No, you don't get on. That's out of context. Oh, okay. This is my thing. Cuti Romero, world's best. You could debate it. I'll accept top 3 in the Premier League. I'm fine with that. You want to say Van Dijk and Gabriel are better? Sure. I'll accept that. But
how
outside
are
of them
you?
two,
How are you a guest on my show and you're not even mentioning a City center back?
bro, because John Stones, he'll start at center back, then he's a 6, and then he's sometimes like a little bit of a.
You're
He
ignoring
plays
Ruben
all over the
Diaz.
place. He's a fraud. Fuck Ruben Diaz.
Oh,
He's
okay.
a bozo.
You know what? We've got a future show coming up. I think I've already got the idea in my head.
He's a liar, a cheat, and a scandal.
All right, get out of here. Now, the positives
Should
you
be
mentioned.
116 because of fucking Ruben Diaz. But
the positives you've mentioned. Now, the hypeness with Solanke and everything that you just also talked about. And I listened to your show. I was mowing the lawn at the same time, but I was listening to your show, so I couldn't see what you were doing in your reaction. But do you have more positives of Ange than you do kind of like doubts? Because you were a little on the fence with the. Good, I'd like you to speak on it because you were a little on the fence in the preview game versus Bayern because obviously set pieces kind of came up, but you addressed that. But speak on why Ange has got you positive for this upcoming season.
I would say because the only thing I'm really concerned about in regards to his management is the fact that he allows a guy in the manager's room to call himself a set piece coach. That's on him. You should have fucking cut that weasel out. Now, it's probably Ryan Mason, which it's been Ryan Mason who sabotaged Poch, who sabotaged Jose, who sabotaged Nuno, who sabotaged Conte. We can't get rid of Ryan Mason. Now, I've remained that he is a fucking mole. But
Give me a second.
But what I've really like take from positive in regards to Ainge and what he makes me feel positive going into the season is that we did stick with a philosophy when it got rough, when it got nasty, when things were not going our way. He said, I'm not going to abandon my philosophy and I'm not going to rest on my laurels. He tweaked and he changed things. Now, people are always going to be complaining. He didn't make this substitution at the right time. He didn't make the right substitution that I wanted. He didn't change this up enough or this. A lot of people don't like inverting fullbacks, and I could understand why you feel that way because when it's 2 passes and our back line is cut open on the counter, that frustrates the hell out of me too. But I've never once said that the reason we get cut open and scored on the counter is somehow Ainge's fault, because the reason we got cut open on the counter in the first place is because we were so clueless in the final third that we eventually do this horseshoeing where we're passing it back and forth in the opponent's half, trying to figure out where we're going to do. We're trying to walk the ball into the back of the net with a fucking little sizzling cross to the back door, and there's a Timo or a Brennan. Like, a lot of the goals that we scored are identical to each other. It's just like, and we do this horseshoe thing.
Yeah, that's not a bad thing though.
It's not. But this is the thing. If you have enough talent, like a City, you can do that and be okay. Because what happens is the second or third time you get into that horseshoe, you score.
Right.
That's what happens. We get caught in those horseshoes and we give the ball away, and then we're getting split open, and then it's fucking flip a coin if we get scored on. And that's what Spurs fans are so upset about. 61, they love, my fans don't care about your feelings. 61 goals conceded. And then, the same people who do that, then in the same breath will be like, and if it wasn't for Van de Ven, it would have been 80. That's not a fact. That's your feeling. But being fucking self-aware is not something YouTubers do. But I'm saying that for me, things that are positive about Ainge is last year, and I got rinsed for it, and I don't give a fuck, baby. Remember the Alamo every single day.
Okay.
And that's exactly what we showed. Not just Chelsea. That's when the Alamo analogy got brought into it. But really it was, and Ainge has been speaking on this in recent interviews too, is that when shit got tough and things weren't going good, it was the lack of a foundation in our philosophy why we continued to crumble when we faced injuries, suspensions,
Okay.
and players playing out of form. And Madison, he started like 20, 25 plus last year. People forget that because all we remember is the first 10 games of him balling. And so it's a little bit of that to me, that I'm excited and positive about Ainge because he's had 12 months to instill his philosophy into the players that have been there that long. And the ones that I've wanted to get the fuck out of here have been Dyer's gone. Sanchez is gone. Those are two center backs I cried about for years. They suck. Get them out of my club. And I felt a little bit bad for Sanchez because it's just like, bro could not catch a break. But they were ass cheeks, and I don't want them at my club. And it's like, we're getting Deadwood out. Harry Winks got sold last summer. Harry Winks got sold last summer. We gave that fucker the number 8. Now, don't talk to me about Basuma. That's another thing.
Yeah. Well, that's a different story. You've cleared out a lot. You've set up well. Ange is in his second year. So then there's, like you just mentioned, the philosophy, just trying to get the foundation, even not even just with regards to the players in the club, but I think it was also trying to get that philosophy and a change in mentality amongst the fan base. So not to dwell too much on last season, but even when it came down to the little bit of split amongst the fan base in terms of culture on let's not give any type of edge to Arsenal potentially winning the league because of the match that you and I had late in the season. And speaking on that doesn't matter. We play to win. But just instilling that into the club and into the fan base is huge.
But that's the thing is there's still people like the people who did the whole I'm City till July. They were complaining about Tottenham in June and us signing Timo Werner. And that's just, again, self-awareness is zero with Spurs fans. Most Spurs fans. Not most. Because I say this, and then people are like, I go to the games. No one there dislikes Ainge. Except for that one guy that was like, play the kids. And Ainge turned around and was like, fuck you. Because he kept telling him to throw the game. And to me, as much as I hate Arsenal, and they all said, oh, it's because you're American. You don't understand the rivalry. But to me, I don't give a fuck, bro. If we were better, we would be the ones to stop Arsenal. We had 2 chances to have our say on their season.
Yeah.
Outside of that, because if we win that game versus you and the same results happen, we get top 4. I didn't want top 4.
Yeah.
I did not because I didn't feel like the squad was ready, and that would tell the board that we mission accomplished because that's all they want is top 4. So
okay, Jacob. No, you're kind of you're contradicting yourself. You're conflicting it a little bit because when you have Ange saying, doesn't matter what we do, it's about Spurs. Whether we win, whether we lose, we go out to play to win games. If that helps Arsenal, it helps Arsenal. But when he's got that active, proactive, aggressive, winning mentality, you can't then turn and say you don't want top 4 because that's actually contradicting the thing of let's improve, let's go for it.
And that is my past traumas coming up to the forefront. That's what happens with humans when we're traumatized. Tottenham has traumatized me because I know how my club operates. I know that Daniel Levy and the henchmen at the boardroom are all sitting there, tough 4, baby. The money we're not going to spend because it's going into fucking Joe Lewis's new yacht to help him get out of his fucking indictment in New York. So to me, why it is contradictory. I'm not saying you're wrong.
No,
And
no,
I
no. This
live with that.
classic.
But this is fine.
Yeah.
This is the nasty side of me as a Spurs fan. I've been abused, and it's not great because I know that if we got top 4,
Hmm.
we did it, baby. Now, some would say this window in this summer has been another example of we did it, get the bare minimum, and maintain status quo. I've gone on record saying I feel like Solanke doesn't help us chase the title. He helps us in the league. He helps us get to where we're at right now. Maintain that, if you will. Because shit last year, like, could have been better if we had him, but we
Yeah.
still also have Richarlison scoring 10 goals in 11 games. So we had guys scoring goals. Timo Werner, 4 GA in 4 games. Brennan Johnson had more GA than I care to admit. And that's what people say, oh, he's actually okay because of the GA. That's where it misleads you. Let your eyes tell the story because all of his goals came from as close as I am to this fucking screen. That's how far away he is from goal. And 9 out of 10, he actually scored them. And that 1 out of 10 got sent over the bar. I do remember that, Brendan Johnson.
So
Don't
I'm
think
gonna
I
do
forgot.
this. I'm gonna do this,
Yeah.
respecting your time. I want to respect your time. With the positives, with Ange, and with this upcoming season, because what I want to do in terms of keeping this show short and sweet, and we're over time. The 30-minute clock went through. I kind of reset it, but I'm not gonna hold. We're not gonna count down to 20. I want to revisit this in a very, listen, almost matter of fact. The transfer window's closed. You've seen a couple games because when the window closed, I think you would have played 2 games by then. I would enjoy either you returning to this channel or we link up on yours. But I do want to revisit the conversation on
Yes.
what. And again, this was a question that you evaded like it was the Matrix. You were Neo, and 100 bullets
What
were
was
coming your way, and you were moving. I was asking you about expectations, and for some reason, I think either my mic wasn't working or your headphones. There was a disconnect. But when the transfer windows closed, I would so enjoy
That's
hearing.
when my expectations actually begin for the
Yes.
club, like my team. As of right now, my expectation
No, I'm not asking
5th.
it. No, I'm
No,
not. No.
I'll tell you, like as of right, if the window closed tonight,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I can
Yeah.
I can assess
Okay.
things as they are,
Okay.
and then
Cool.
also
Cool. Cool.
revisit. I'm a very flexible person when it comes to. I'm not very stubborn in the. I'm always right. I'm always right. Bro. I scouted Patrick Bamford as a backup for Harry Kane. I hold it.
Ooh, speaking of that, hold on.
So
Speaking of the always right thing, from a life on making contact, talking about our clubs. Two things that irk the heck out of me is when someone tries to set up a conversation saying, "I don't think this player is as good as others say they are." Like that debate, I'm like, what do you mean you don't think they're as good as what? How are you going to define that? That's one thing. And then another thing is the "I told you so's." The "I told you so's" within this
or
space.
the
I'm
people
like,
that want to lose so they can tell you so. That's what
yeah,
those
like that.
fans were. City till July. It's those same ones that nothing's ever good enough. Nothing makes them happy, bro. Miserable people love miserable people. Love
So
miserable
weird.
energy.
So weird to me, man.
So it's just a fucking little merry-go-round of fucking wham, wham, wham. I don't
Yeah.
play into it. I could. It's very easy as a Tottenham fan. You don't have to look far for a reason to get down on yourself. I'll tell you
True.
that much.
But I cut you
But
off.
there's a
You're
lot of
talking
positivity I got going into next season.
and
And
expectations.
I think Solanke could actually help us in regards to a cup run. If you look
100%.
at
I'm in
Carabao
agreement.
Cup when we got eliminated, a lot of those players that started that Fulham match aren't here right now.
Mm, mm.
So to me,
I like it.
and Ainge has said, so my expectation is what I'm going by what my manager says. You're
Okay.
allowed to dream about whatever you want to dream about, but my job is to be the realist and to get this club to compete on every competition. And we're going to go for every competition. So I'm going to hold them to that standard of the full for the Carabao Cup. Solanke, I think, could be the quality of a player to help you get a Carabao Cup win, a run in the Carabao Cup, so to speak.
Yeah.
Obviously, luck and draws are going to play into it, but I think we genuinely there's 2 situations I want. Now, there's what I want and what I think will happen. What I want is that Europa Cup, and I'll take it at the expense of 16th in the league. I don't give a fuck because we still get Champions League because we won Europa. Talk to me. So I want Europa and 16th. That I'll take that. In a perfect world, we get 4th and a Europa and
Okay.
a Carabao. Am I greedy? Am I being too greedy for a Carabao and a Europa?
Wow.
I'll take just a Carabao. I
Wow.
don't give a fuck, bro. I'll take anything. But when I'm
Yeah,
dreaming of that Europa, bro.
I
If I
hear
could
it.
get that Europa, I would be cooking. Um, but my expectation with where we're at right now, I would say probably fifth, depending how Chelsea and United do. I would say maybe sixth right now. But if we
Right
go and we
now.
get a guy like Ezzy, which I'm still, hey, the door ain't closed till it's closed, baby, and
That is
I'm still
very
holding
greedy
out
of you
hope.
right now. You're being very greedy. You're
Bro,
being very
Ezzy
greedy.
Solanke, I used to say Tony Ezzy makes all my bro. We get Ezzy
Yeah.
and any fullback
Wow.
to bro,
Wow.
we could challenge for the
That
league,
that
and I
that
say
that's a
that with my
better
chest.
that's a
We
better
could challenge for
transfer
the league.
window. That's a huge transfer window. That's also, I mean, I don't know if you saw the news, but there's a incredible meltdown happening over at Liverpool.
Yeah,
With
I tuned in live to some of that on my show earlier.
oh
Hassan was
that
great.
yeah, that is absolute quality. And I think before I let you go, I
Shit.
think
Yeah, I
Zuma
do gotta go.
Mendy,
I just realized what
yeah,
time it is.
absolutely. I want to point out that Jacob first, the first ever guest on Neighborhood Watch. I mean, I'm going to set up my overlay so that he and I can actually share the full screen, work on that behind the scenes. The first 30 minutes was him just breaking it all down, and he gave me some bonus time. I don't want to keep him much longer. I do want to say, please take the time, speak on your channel, speak on what you got going on next,
Yeah.
and
United
yeah,
Spurs of America, America's #1 Tottenham Hotspur fan channel,
let me make
hosted
it
by
full
none
screen.
other than this guy. On the road to 5K, a little less than 200 until we get there. But my man Vader, when I checked before the show started, was almost at 600. So if there's like 11 people who could subscribe, you could get him to 600 right now. But I need my Vader to be at 1K as of tomorrow. So if y'all could do that, I ain't even gonna talk about my channel. Make a burner account,
Oh, this
make
guy's a legend.
5, and just subscribe to Vader Games, man. We need to get him monetized because then when the horse has a carrot, the horse will run faster. And I want to see Vader running, spreading those legs like a maverick stud on the fucking racetrack. So get him to 1K ASAP. That'd be sick.
Appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. I'm gonna also let you go because like
Yeah, I
myself,
do
he's
gotta
a
run. I'm
father.
super behind.
Yeah, man. And
Love Vader.
again,
Love everybody in the chat. Big up everybody. Make sure you are liking and subscribing, all that stuff. Leave a comment after the video ends. YouTube loves comments. And
mm,
just think, the more love you show Vader, the more willing he's going to be to say, "Hey, family, go away. I'm going to stream." Because I'll be
hilarious.
honest, if the people didn't show me love at United Spurs of America, I wouldn't leave all them beautiful folks in my living room all alone.
I
I'd be
hear it.
hanging out with them.
I
Those are my
hear it.
people. So
I'm I'm
do
gonna
the
keep the
damn
show
thing. Give
going,
Vader a
please,
reason to abandon his family on the daily.
in a different way. You know what Jacob's trying to
Yeah,
say.
you know what I
So
mean.
yeah, of
Big
course,
up,
of course.
Vader. Much love,
Do your
brother.
thing,
I'll
man.
talk to you.
Thanks.
Bye bye.
All right. Jacob, legend. I mean, United Spurs of America, him and I collab on American Waffle, which usually happens every Monday around 7 o'clock. I don't know if it's happening this year, to tell you the truth. There's a few rumblings. I don't want to divulge too much that's happened in the group chat, but we may not have an American Waffle this upcoming season. So tune into Staffy TV. Let them know how much you want that show to continue going. But I had an amazing guest in Jacob, special guest, first time ever on Neighborhood Watch. Video Games TV. Now, I see everybody in the chat. I want to address this really quickly. I want to say thank you to Bruce, DC, Hugo. Even though Hugo, that fraud of a rival for Arsenal, I mean, appreciate you being over here and speaking on it. Big up Vader and Jacob. Come on, you Gunners, is what he wants to say, and like the video. Rose, my gal in the building, says, "Hey Vader, I love what you're doing. Wishing you every success." Thank you so much, Rose. Um, appreciate that. Jacob, reminding all of you to subscribe and hit the like button, even if you missed the show live initially. Now, I got 13 minutes that I want to speak on, and I'm not going to use up the full 13, but I do want to say this. We need to calm down. We need to calm down when it comes down to our clubs. And the reason why I'm doing this a little differently with Neighborhood Watch, and again, I'm going to work on the format so we can be full screen with the guests that I have, but it's about knowing what's been added to your club, knowing about what you can actually look forward to, because not every season, of course, not every club can have trophies raised, right? There's only so many trophies available. Community Shield, there's only 2 teams that can actually play for it. But with regards to the league, with regards to the Caribou, with regards to obviously FA, and then some playing in Europa, whether it's Conference League, Europa, or even Champions League. There's only so many trophies that can be lifted, but you want to be excited for your club for different changes and different events. And I'm going to do this with other people that I've had the chance to make content with. Today was a neighborhood watch with Tottenham Spurs. The next one up, please subscribe and hit the notification button so you know who's next. I'm not going to do any spoilers, but I will also say this. We've got a lot to be happy for. We could be. Look at. I'm going to pose this question because, in terms of success with Klopp, FSG, one could say FSG were the second best owners in the league. The amount of trophies that they won, the level of consistency, but they just got embarrassed. Not just the club. This is, and I don't want to take joy in others' failures, but some of the fans over at Liverpool were talking with way too much chest, and they were flexing way too much with the Zuma Mendy signing or potential signing. And they have the biggest egg on their face right now. They look like jokers. And I myself, I'm going to be shutting down this stream. Guilty pleasure. I'm going to be going and revisiting some of those videos that had them talking reckless. I need that. Because the reason why I want to go back is because I want to hear about all the positives. Again, like this show, a lot of positives on what's going into the season. It's good. That's how you level set. I want to hear all the positives that they had about Zuma Mendy. I want to hear about all the positives that they had in terms of the balance of squad and what they would have for success. And then I'm going to compare that to the meltdowns that are happening. So, yeah, that's a little bit of Vader hater that you're witnessing right now. I am going to be doing that. Yes, bad. I have to say, but I got to do it. I got to do it. Zish goes. Oh, Dizzyish. Can I say Dizzyish? Dizzyish. I just saw he rejected them. They thought he was in the bag. Hilarious. No, Dizzyish. It's not just that he rejected them. It's on how some of the fans reacted to the rejection. And I tweeted this. Zuma Mendy made the right decision because as much as they will rate him, look at how quickly they hate him. All right? The flip is crazy. Shout out to my man Don Hussam. The meltdown, and again, some people are very emotional. Obviously, it's a game. It's a game of emotion. We're fans. We do have emotions. Some of us express it differently. If you want to see what is a meltdown, check out Don Hussam. DC in the building, eject that into my veins. 100%. 100%. I'm so grateful to be able to do a bonus show. I don't want to keep you. If you're just joining, please go back when I shut down. Check it from the beginning. Jacob was absolutely amazing. If you've been from the very beginning, an hour show, and I'm still refining it. Did not mean to be speaking this long. Jacob, amazing. He gave us a lot of insight as to what he looks forward to with Spurs, what he likes in terms of what's been added to the club. So we're gonna make sure that we check that out. Bruce, the villain. No, I'm not gonna embrace a villain arc. I can't do that. I already get tied to Vader, Darth Vader. Do I use elements of the Force from the dark side? Yeah. Maybe more like Mace Windu, because he kind of uses a little bit of the dark. I'm nerding out Star Wars. You're kind of getting the nerd part of it. I am wearing my sneaker geek shirt, so it's kind of fitting. But yeah, I embrace a little bit of the dark side. But let me shut down. Let me say love to each and every one of you. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. If you haven't hit that like button, please do that as well. Bruce gives us Hounds as a light version, bro. Okay. All right. Let me point this out. Liverpool fans have talked about their run. They've talked about they did it the right way. They talked about FSG. They talked about how they've scouted ahead. They wanted to point all those things out on why they were able to, again, pimp us to a league win, and why they were able to be in the mix, and why their winning was better, right? It means more. This is the same ownership that did that for them then. So how are you now trying to flip it and say that the ownership that was doing it then are doing it wrong now? It's always been their model. It's going to be in flows, and the meltdowns should only be directed at the available players and what they do. The sustainable model that FSG have put in place is what it is. Can't praise it for being efficient and then cuss it for when it doesn't deliver the player that you want. And this same system gave you Van Dijk, Allison, Salah, McAllister. Liverpool fans, it's 2 weeks left. You know your club likes to do the underdog. They're gonna get some signings. They're just moving in classic underdog status. That's what it is. He goes, preach. You hit the nail on the head. Enjoy your night, and thanks for the content and interaction. Always, Bruce. Appreciate you. DC, my girl, good looking out. It means four. It does. It does. For City. Love as always. I'm Vader Games. Please subscribe so you know when my next show is up. I might have a one-on-one, one question, 15 minutes tomorrow. But stay tuned and check it out. I'm out.